Hello my friends, welcome to the Commander's Crypt. I absolutely love doing these little deck tech videos, so I couldn't help myself. I did a Saturo Umezawa deck tech the other day, so I thought it'd be cool to do a part 2 and show you some more advanced combos and more advanced plays that you can do with this deck. I absolutely love this deck. Me and my warlocks are going to get together tonight and we're going to do a gameplay, and we're going to put that episode on here in the next few days. It's going to be all Neon Dynasty commanders, and I'm kind of scared. This guy is so strong. I'm not playing him. I'll be since I'm the pilot, I'll be playing the pilot deck, but the Shurikai deck. So this guy is going to be super strong. But so anyway, we're going to do a gameplay video tonight of all the Neon Dynasty. Be sure to look for that. I'll give you a little sneak preview. It's going to be Umezawa versus Chishiro versus Shrines versus Shurikai. So, and there will be no punches pulled. We're going to go for it. There is one punch I will be pulling that I won't be putting in this deck, and I'll show you here in a little bit. But hey, we are a new channel. I absolutely love Magic the Gathering. I love everything about it. I like what they do. I think they got a fantastic product most of the time. I love playing it. I love talking about it. I love being with people that are excited about the game. I feel that Magic is the new chess, and I'm actually going to make a video on that to show why I think that is so. I think that's why people are so interested in the game, because it's like chess but with variables and with chess pieces that are beautiful works of art that then rise in value. So, but anyway, hey, if you like this, if you like what I'm doing and you like this channel, give us a like and a subscribe, please. We are a new channel. We love Magic. We love talking about it. We love doing it. So we'd like to grow, and we'd like for you to grow with us. Today I'm getting with the Warlocks, and we're going to start getting our contest apparatus started so we can start giving away decks and cards and boxes. So without further ado, this is the Saturo Umezawa advanced combo list. So Umezawa, I think this guy at this point needs no introduction. He is super duper strong because he can cheat creatures in, and then, you know, once those creatures get out, it's just devastating and disruptive to his opponents. You have to stick with colorless blue or black creatures, but turns out black has maybe some of the best creatures for ETBs and hit triggers and all that kind of stuff. So this guy needs no introduction. Draw cards and cheat out creatures, and you're going to have to protect them. Everybody's going to be gunning for him. So I've got a Lightning Greaves in there. You know, I in my deck I went with the Reanimator package, but yeah, it might be a good idea to put some Spell Skites in there, and some Storm Sirens, and maybe even a Swan Song or two, or a Fierce Guardianship. You know, it depends on what you got and, you know, the kind of budget we're talking about here. But you're going to have to protect this guy. This guy, the Greaves was perfect. Second turn you play it. Third turn you put Umezawa out and you put this on him. Everyone knows I love cheating creatures, so I've got the Quicksilver Amulet in there. Another good card that can go in there is the Thran's Temporal Gateway. I think there's like 30 creatures in here, and a very good percentage of those are either artifacts or legendaries. So those are the two cheat portals that you can put in the deck. Next, Bitter Blossom. I think that's an advanced play to get you some unblockables in there. You start pumping these out third turn, and every turn you're going to have somewhere to go with either one or two of these fairies, and it doesn't cost you anything to keep recasting it. Thousand Face Shadow, we absolutely love this guy. He's got evasion, he's got ninjutsu, he makes copies of your big creatures. So, you know, Umezawa could be down for the count, and this guy could then combo with your other creatures and make copies of the non-legendaries, of course. Blightsteel Colossus, etc., etc. I put so I had a thematic compass in here earlier, and I thought with all the unblockables, Sword of the Animus was really the better way to go. You put this on one of your unblockables that you don't want in ninjutsu, and just every turn you're ramping and you're thinning your deck out to draw those big, awesome monsters that you want to drop into play. Kind of on the unblocked creature tip, we've got Vorpal Sword. I think this might be an advanced play if you can fit it into your deck. You know, because of the unblockables that you have, you know, you put this on a shadow creature or an unblockable creature, and now instead of 1 point of damage, you're bolting them every turn. But then when you get 8 mana, you're just knocking players out. Kiki Knight's Flower, everybody knows I absolutely love this chick. Besides being a super hot babe, she also is able to, she's basically a fear on a stick, maybe better than fear, because fear can't target black creatures. You know, that's another really good thing about this card I didn't mention the other night, is that, you know, a lot of black spells can't target black creatures, but she can. And she is basically a destroyer on a stick. Like I said in my other video, she takes out Blightsteel Colossuses, she takes out Death Touch creatures at instant speed, so she's a very fantastic card, and she can be used to ninjutsu stuff in. Coffin Queen, I talked about her. I wanted to talk about her a little bit more because she can do some advanced tricks that I forgot to mention in the last video. So, because she can reanimate things at instant speed, I don't see why you can't, you know, target something that goes into your graveyard that then shuffles into your deck, like your Blightsteel Colossus. Let's say you have to sacrifice it, and you do, and then it hits the board, and instant speed, you pop it back out before it's going into your graveyard. This also works with Kozilek the Butcher and the Darksteel Colossus. So that was another advanced play I wanted to talk to you about that's in this deck. There he is, Blightsteel Colossus. Again, needs no introduction. We all know him and love him. He is, you know, everybody's terrified when they see Umezawa come out that next turn, Blightsteel Colossus is going to take somebody out. Now, some advanced plays that I have in this deck are ways to copy him, but then also ways to tutor him up. If you watch my last video, you'll see that I went with the Reanimator package, but then also I changed some things to make it to where you can actually tutor this guy into your hand. Demons of Death's Gate, you know, in the last video I said I had him in there, but I have replaced him with Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre. He is much better. The thing about blue is it doesn't have a lot of removal. So, you know, these Eldrazi's fit in there really fantastically for blue to help you with the removal of things. So there he is. I replaced Demon of Death's Gate with Ulamog. He's 1 point stronger, but that Annihilator trigger is crazy. And we got ways of copying him too in this deck. And there's one, well, you can use your Glass Pool Mimic to copy the Blightsteel Colossus, but then also you can use Helm of the Host to copy your Ulamogs and just start wrecking the table. This is a land, by the way, so, you know, why not? It's a land if you need it early, cool, and later on if you want to copy you know, your Blightsteel Colossus or your Rune-Scarred Demon so you can tutor for a card. This guy works really well with those creatures that have those awesome ETBs. Artisan of Kozilek, I talked about him. He's part of the Reanimator package, but he also wrecks face. And if you can't afford the more expensive Eldrazi, he works pretty well. Helm of the Host, you can start copying Blightsteels and the legendaries and Platinum Empyrean to keep putting out guys to, you know, keep you in the game. Or you can keep copying every turn a Meteor Golem in order to keep killing problematic permanents that are on the board. Another thing about Meteor Golem is, you know, these guys that come in with these ETBs, you can, you know, swing in with them. If somebody's open, bounce it to your hand, drop a bigger creature, and then cheat them in again to keep using him. That's the advanced combo play with these guys. Same thing with the duplicate with the Helm of the Host, or bouncing it back into your hand. These guys are able to eliminate big creature threats that are out there. And the Phyrexian Ingester, same thing. The cool thing about the Ingester is he's a 3/3, but then he gets plus X plus Y for whatever creature you bounced out. So, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 power and toughness creatures. Your guy is now an 11/11. Spawning Kraken, you know, with Helm of the Host, it just gets out of hand really quick. This is a very good card, and it's not very expensive, so I would grab these up. This guy is amazing. You know, once he hits, you put a 9/9 Kraken down, and then after that, those two attack, and if they hit, you get 2 more, and so on, and so on, and so on. Helm of the Host is good as well. Rexial, the Risen Deep, the advanced play on him is he has got Swamp Walk. If you've got Urborg out, you can just swing at whoever has the best instant or sorcery in their graveyard to help you with your removal or anything else. If they've got a Swords to Plowshare, you know, you get that. Or if they've got a Tutor, you know, you get that. Or, you know, if you got a burn spell, you get that. This guy is really, really good. And there's Runo Stromkirk. He doesn't work with Rexial because he's a legendary, but he works with the Spawning Kraken. And with Runo and Spawning Kraken, you will be, you know, creating Leviathans and Octopi and Serpents and Leviathans, Krakens all over the place. So this guy is really, really good. In one of our sit-downs, one of the Warlocks was talking about how this guy was a really good card and you should pick it up, and I was kind of like, yeah, whatever. But then after seeing this guy and playing with him, he's absolutely right. This guy allows you to reanimate a creature out of your graveyard, put it on the top of your deck, and then if it's more than 6 CMC, this guy flips, and now he becomes even bigger. And he becomes the badass Crothus, Lord of the Deep. And he's the guy that can double your sea creature tokens and just go crazy town with it. Emrakul the Promised End, we've got him in there. He's a relatively cheap creature that you could cast later with an awesome cast trigger. You know, I kind of mentioned him quickly in the last video, but the advanced play with this guy is to cast him, and then this is a Reanimator deck. It's got Dredge, it's got Liliana, it's putting all kinds of stuff in your graveyard. You could actually cast this guy for, you know, just 7 mana or whatever, and then, you know, target player, you hit them and you take their turn, and it's just devastating. You know, you go into their combat step, and you attack into somebody that's big and wipe out all their creatures. You cast all their big spells, you know, wiping everybody's stuff off the board, and then maybe to get rid of the counter spells, you counter one of the spells that he has in there. It's very devastating. So very, very good card. That's the advanced play on that. So, in my last video, I had an artifact, grafted exoskeleton. I took that out. I kind of looked at it and I thought that this was a better deal. Grafted exoskeleton says that when it is bounced or unattached or destroyed from your creature, you got to sacrifice the creature. So that doesn't do you any good. If it's an indestructible creature, it's an easy way to kill it. But with glistening oil, you put this on your dark steel colossus, and now you've got another blight steel colossus. The drawback is that it, it ticks, it gives you a negative counter on your creature, but your creatures are so big, like Emrakul, the 1313, and Dark Steel Colossus, they're so big that that's not a problem. But hey, guess what? If it ticks down and the creature dies or dies some other way, the glistening oil goes, your graveyard goes back to your hand. So that's why I replaced grafted exoskeleton with glistening oil. I think that's the more advanced play. Same thing, Ulamog the Ceaseless Hunger, put glistening oil on him, and he is a blight steel. He's a 10/10 with Infect, but then also, if you cast him, 10 might not be a crazy mana cost later as the game goes along, especially with your Sword of Animist, kicking off maybe every turn. You cast this guy, exile 2 permanents right off the bat. Now he's indestructible. Now he's a big problem. Even if he gets chump blocked, after about 5 attempts at somebody, they're out of the game because you've exiled the graveyard. That's the advanced play on that. Kozilek, Butcher of Truth, works well with glistening oil. Same thing. If you can cast this guy again, 10. Not too crazy. You can draw 4 cards, and this deck's got all kinds of crazy drawing power. If you put a Castle of Loch Thwain in there, you're drawing. With Umezawa's ability, you're drawing. With all these creatures, you're drawing. You're going to have Runescar Demon, which we've put in there now. You're going to be tutoring up maybe every turn. So, this guy's super duper good and can bounce your graveyard back into your deck. It that betrays, same thing, works really well with glistening oil. If somebody doesn't have any creatures, any way to block this guy, you just swing into them and now you're getting their land. So that's another way you can ramp. You're going to get maybe their mana dorks and their lands, and you're going to be ramping big time. So next is Pathrazor of Ulamog. Again, these Eldrazi really help out blue because blue doesn't have a lot of removal. This guy's hard to block. Worn Power Stone. I took the Magic Compass out and I put Worn Power Stone in to help with that 2 colorless to help ninjutsu creatures. With Umezawa, if you've got 8 mana out, you can ninjutsu 2 creatures in. And like I said, this deck has a lot of draw power, so that's the advanced play. With this card. Lord of the Void needs no introduction. This guy exiles, if it's later in the game. I did this once later in the game, and somebody had pillow forwarded and there was no way to win. So what I started to do then was just hit him to exile his deck to win that way. Dothy Voidwalker, this guy is a badass. 2 black, 3/2 shadow. It exiles everybody's graveyard, so you're the only one that's going to be able to recur your graveyard, and you just keep doing that. And then if something juicy hits the board, you sacrifice them and play that card. But then also, like I said, I've got a lot of reanimator stuff in this deck, so you can bring him back out and and then put them back out and start exiling graveyards again. Another good card that would be an advanced play for this deck would be Volrath Stronghold. It's basically a land, but they're pricey. Thank goodness I've got a couple from back in the day. For 1 black and 1 colorless, tap it, put target creature card on top of your library. Plus there's other ways to reanimate in this deck, Coffin Queen, etc., etc. So that's the advanced play with that one. Phyrexian Ingester, I talked about him earlier with the Helm of the Host. And if you want, and there's a problematic creature, you can attack, bounce them out, put them back in your hand, and jitsu something else in, and then replay them again. Phyrexian Arena. So I had Kaito Shizuki in this deck originally, and I just kind of looked at it and I said, you know what, I think Phyrexian Arena is going to be way better. It's much harder to get rid of, but then also you're going to be drawing 2 cards per turn. The draw power in this deck is just awesome. Kaito, if you're able to ult him, is fantastic, but I mean, the chances of that may be slim to none with all the kill spells and fireballs and everything else out there. So this is the more advanced play, the Phyrexian Arena. Lazotep plating. I took out the Phyrexian that I had in here that could make everything indestructible, and for a little bit cheaper I went with this guy to help protect Umezawa and all your permanents if somebody tries to steal them. That's another thing, that's another reason why I switched cards, because people are going to be trying to steal your stuff too, and that is the absolute worst, to get your things stolen and then beat with them after you went through all that trouble of putting them out yourself. Doom Whisperer, the advanced play on this guy is to search for something and then keep it on top of your deck to draw, or to fill your graveyard for a living death, or to reanimate something that you want. Phyrexian Reclamation. If my deck has black, it has Phyrexian Reclamation in it, because the name of the game is Commander, and you know your deck is weaker without your commander. That's why everybody kills your commanders or whatever. So with this guy, when your commander dies, instead of having, especially late game, instead of having to pay 2, 4, 6 extra mana in commander's tax, you just put it in the graveyard, pop it back in your hand, and play him for the 3 mana that he is. Going to pay 2 life, but I mean that's better than maybe a 6 or 8 commander tax that's not allowing you to cast him. So this is another way to have your commander in the game. People are going to be trying to kill him. So what better play would be to play this first turn, play a unblockable second turn, play Umezawa third turn, then if he gets killed, just bounce him back in your hand. So that's the advanced play with this card. Sheoldred Whispering One. The advanced move on this one is to get her out early, and everybody's got to start sacrificing their creatures, but then you reanimate them and put them on your side, and she's got Swamp Walk. You want to get her out early if you can. Silent Blade Oni. This guy, once he's also got an ninjutsu ability, so if Umezawa's not out, you can use his ability to sneak in, hit, and then look at somebody's hand, know what they're playing, know what they're planning to do, and disrupting it by playing that card that they're trying to do, or playing something that's going to help you, removal or something else. That's the advanced play on that card. Razakit the Foul-Blooded. With Bitter Blossom and Liliana, you're going to be making tokens, and so then you can sacrifice those tokens. It's no skin off your teeth. Pay 2 life and, tutor whatever you need. If you get him out early, now you tutor for your Blightsteel Colossus. Steel Hellkite, the advanced play on him is, you cheat him in, and then you wipe out whatever's giving you a problem. For the X, destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost X, whose control was dealt combat damage by Steel Hellkite this turn. Wipes out all of those Kraken tokens for them, even though they're 9/9s. They could be the biggest tokens out there. Heck, it could be that Mech Titan token out there. You sneak this in. He's a 10/10 badass, but with this guy, you sneak him in and you're able to eliminate stuff. again, blue doesn't have a lot of removal, so this helps with that. That's the advanced play on that one. Villainous Broker of Blood allows you to draw cards and kill problematic commanders that are 1 or 2 or 3 costs, and then you draw those cards. And then if anyone's beating up on you, you get to draw cards to look for an answer. I took out the Filth and put Wonder in. Swamp Walk is really good, but being able to fly and block is really good too. This works well with Chroma's Memorial. Swan Song, you know, you might want to try to fit one of these in there. The other day I was playing with this deck and somebody did an Insurrection and it was just devastating. He won the game with it. Had I had a Swan Song, I would have been able to stop it. So this is a good card late game for that type of stuff, but then good to protect Umezawa. And there's a land in this deck that you can tutor for. Once you play it, it allows you to take a instant or sorcery out of your graveyard, and with the other card which I'm about to show you, you can keep bouncing that land and keep pulling instants and sorceries out of your graveyard. Forbid, you're going to have so many cards in your hand, you know, like with Netzahal. You got Netzahal out and everybody's playing spells and you got a huge grip. You can now use Forbid to counter spells, put creatures in your graveyard, and then pull them out. You're going to be drawing so many cards with Netzahal that you'll be able to just keep counter-spelling something every turn. Shoot, twice a turn maybe if you have to. Put cards in your graveyard, and then you're going to be drawing reanimate spells and pulling them out and swinging with them. So that's the advanced play with that one. Chroma's Memorial, I talked about this card. I love this card. I'd start picking them up. This card, when you play it, you can attack at will. Creatures you control have flying, first strike, vigilance, trample, haste, and protection from black and from red. All of your Bitter Blossom fairies are going to be, you know, Vig with pro red and pro black. You can absolutely just attack at will with this creature, because even if it's not a red or black creature, your creatures have first strike. You're going to have a bunch of flyers out there, big ones too. So that's the advanced play on with this card. When you play this card, you nullify maybe 50 to 70% of the table, because black and red are the 2 most popular colors that people play. That's the advanced move on that. Jin Kataxis. This guy, you know, is a potentiality to put him in there. I'm not going to put him in. The play group that I play in, they won't even play Eldrazi. You know, they like the chess match type of stuff. So, you know, house rules is the rules. So, you know, if you guys are going for stronger builds and you guys, you know, your play group doesn't mind it, this is the way to go. You know, early out, you get to draw 7 cards, and then everybody has to dump their hand, which is just brutal. But, you know, sometimes that makes for unfun games where people can't play anything now. People play Magic to actually play the game and not sit there and not play. So this is an advanced play. I'm not going to do it, but there you go. I've got Varigoth Blood Sky Sire in here as a potential way to continually tutor up cards. He's got Death Touch, but then he's also got Boast. So he's a pretty good blocker if somebody, you know, it's a deterrent from people losing their big creatures. But the Boast says target player searches their library for a card, then shuffles their library and puts that card on top of it. So whenever you attack, you can Boast, and if he's getting through, you can just keep doing it, and you can keep tutoring and putting it on the top of your deck every time. That's the advanced play with that. Runescarred Demon needs to go in there because, you know, you play this guy, and, you know, early game to get your Blightsteel Colossus, and then maybe you bounce it back and, you know, substitute it for a bigger creature, and then play it again, and you keep tutoring that way. That's the advanced play with this deck. Again, the play group I play in, they don't even allow this, because all kinds of crazy stuff can be done with this. with the Sword of Hearth and Home. You can blink him every time and just tutor for whatever you need. You know, once a turn, maybe multiple times a turn. So that's the advanced play with this card. Archfiend of Despair. So now we're going to get into the more advanced combos. Archfiend of Despair, I mean, he's already a badass on his own, but then, you know, if you got your tutor machine going, engine going, you get your Archfiend of Despair, or maybe you've already got one of these cards and you get the other one. Archfiend of Despair and Scourge of the Skyclaves. That is a combo that wins you the game. Vito the Dusk Rose, I've got him in this deck to help with gaining life later to keep you around later game, but he also works really well with Sanguine Bond. So this guy's going to give you all kinds of life. Just him on his own could take out a player, but if you got Sanguine Bond, you're really going to be wrecking face. So just a suggestion. Trench Behemoth, he's really good with that island that I was telling you about earlier that allows you to grab instants and sorceries out of your graveyard. The name escapes me right now, but I'll put the graphic of the card up right now. But with this guy, I think he's really, really good because, you know, you go and you smash with him and he's a 7/7, and then you can bounce that tutor land, that graveyard recursion back in your hand, untap them to block. The advanced play on this is go to creature, make him attack somebody else. If it attacks you, you're just going to untap your Trench Behemoth and block with it. But then if you've got a Bojuka Bog or some other ETB land, you can just be going crazy. I did that once with my Kalia deck. I was playing a Muldrotha player, and I was able to keep bouncing the Bojuka Bog with the bounce lands that give you, 2 mana. And he was just like getting salty. He couldn't do anything with his Muldrotha. So, Trench Behemoth, the advanced play with this is to get that island that pulls out the instants and sorceries out of your graveyard and keep bouncing Bojuka Bog to disrupt other people from being able to recur their graveyard. Stormtide Leviathan, he's an advanced play because he basically becomes an island sanctuary. When he comes down, only creatures with island walk and flying can move. So he's like an island sanctuary. He stops, he allows other creatures to be unable to attack you. So that's why he's in this deck. And there's lots of things in this deck to make all your creatures flying, like Wonder and Akroma's Memorial. So that's it. That is my advanced Umezawa build. I hope you liked it. This is, this is the advanced combos that you can do with this deck. So that's it for now. We're going to be playing a game with this deck tonight, and I'm not looking forward to it. It's gonna be brutal. So we're going to see who's able to hang with this commander. So this is the Commander's Crypt from New Orleans signing off. I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoy making them. Please subscribe and hit that like button. Eventually, like I said, we're going to, a buddy's coming over today so we can work together to get our concept, our contest engine going. So have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you soon.